mic working?
No.
Should be. It's on. Pull it
Yeah.
closer to you.
Is that working?
Does this work? No.
What about this?
Mine's got a green light. Green light, doesn't,
Anything?
there, how about that? It's on. It says it's on, it's not. What?
Put the volume up.
Something to write on.
It's up.
Oh,
It's up.
I don't know that I have any. Okay.
No, on the control board.
Wait a minute. Here,
Try now.
I've got two agendas. You can write on this.
Is that good? Oh, yeah, that's
There we
it.
go.
Yeah, there we go.
It's working?
Probably louder than anybody
No.
wants to hear me.
Yes.
Okay, first order of business is the approval of minutes from February 11th.
Just,
Get a chance to read over them?
no. So just have them just this second. The new business, I don't remember that part. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I don't remember doing that.
I don't either. I think it was just a tentative call the county manager's office.
Yeah, but we didn't do that
Yeah.
at the meeting, so I think we should take it out. We
Okay.
can do it at this meeting.
What would you like to call that? Instead of new business?
Well, new business, I don't know if we can add new business to
No.
a
'Cause there was a-
special meeting. Maybe when we get to the point where we're discussing the director, we could put it in there.
Because that was something that was mentioned in the last meeting.
I don't remember it, do you?
That's what we brought up at the very end.
I mean, it was in just the general discussion. It wasn't a point, but it was made.
Well, I have no conscious memory of it, so why don't we just put it in today when we're talking about the director recommendation, because that seems like,
I think it's important to put it in the meeting that we brought it up, because it was a statement that I remember, I made the statement, that was something that I wanted that information from the county manager's office, and we did receive it
you did
since the
receive
last
it.
meeting. We all have. you know.
Well, I didn't vote on that, I didn't remember it, you know, I don't think we can bring it up. I mean, I think we should do it, but I think we should wait until we,
Because we got some information from Aaron based on that request from Director Hodges.
excuse me, Susan, no, who was it? I'm not exactly sure. Sorry, oh, there we.
So I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
I've seen,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I've seen.
Okay, new registrations and statistics. Ms. Hodge, anything new to
No,
report on those?
it would be just pending review.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the 86 registration pending review.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next agenda item is director recommendation. I've been thinking about it. What I look for in a director is organized, good with numbers, able to put together a lot of things and understand the complex intricacies of it. A couple of names batted around my head, and the name of the person that I would like to recommend, and I'll give you a recommendation, his resume is Matthew Snyder. So if you want to take one, we'll pass that to him, Kathleen.
Okay, I also have some people who
Okay.
have applied. I have 9 people, resumes. There are a couple of these people I've already spoken to earlier in the week and gone over their qualifications, and I think they're very good. I think it's premature for me to mention their names. anybody's name because somebody who applied might be not wanting their boss to know they were looking for another job. So I'm not gonna say the names, but I will give this to Donna so that she can give you copies of all the resumes that I have. And I would like to get a copy of Mr. Snyder's resume.
Yeah, I'll run through in front of you.
Okay. I mean,
Mr. Chairman, I believe you have a personnel under your closed session. The statute does allow the board to discuss this as a closed session matter if the board wishes.
well, we could do that. Is it, I mean, I really don't know if it's legitimate for me to discuss people's names at this point. I feel a little uncomfortable about doing that.
And the board may discuss that publicly or in closed session as the board sees fit. The statute does give you the option to discuss the qualifications of a
Right.
potential employee as part of your closed session discussion.
I see no problem discussing that in the closed session.
Would you be comfortable discussing your choices in closed session with us?
Yeah, yes, that would be okay. If you're going to tell your name, the names of your people though, I would perhaps like to tell the names of my people.
Because I'm giving this out to you so you can contact them and get in touch with them, so you can make a
Yes,
meeting. I mean,
yes,
that's-
I also want you to do the
Okay.
same thing. Okay, so, I have here Nancy Henry, Deborah Green, Christine Berend. Write this down. Marjorie Holder, Charlotte Mizell, John Cricket, Jill Reeves, and Susan Adams, and Melissa Humphrey. So I'll give these to Donna, and Donna, wait a minute, I'll have to give them to you, and you'll have to share it with them if we're gonna talk about it in the closed session. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I make copies of those for each of you if you need to?
Okay, that would be good.
That'd be great.
Right.
I have some more to say under this subject. Maybe perhaps you want to finish what you're saying, and then I would like another chance to speak.
I can go right ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, I would like to be able to, I'm glad that you had a kind of quasi job description. I made one of two, because I think that normally, you don't just have one person like the chair deciding on who the person's going to be that they give the job to. Normally you have a situation where you've got a call out, you've got a job description, you have the job description, you post it. I'm sure you had this when you were hired at the high school in Ashe County. You have a job description, you post it, and then, you tell what the salary range is, and then you have people, give them some time to apply. And then you have a period in which you go over the applications, and then another period where you might narrow it down and interview people. And this is very common. This is about the only way that people do things, which is why they did it when you were hired. And so I have a job description, and I'll hand out to you. I have never mind. Hold on one second, things are getting mixed up.
You referencing Luke was hired, is that, since you were hired, is that?
When Luke was hired,
Okay.
look, almost anybody that's hired, this is how they do it. It's not a big secret. And what I have here is a draft for a job description. The person to be hired for this job will need the following experience or skills. 1, well-organized, experienced, and capable of handling a very busy and complex office. 2, has strong supervisory skills and experience. 3, has strong communication skills, must mediate between county officials and the State Board of Elections and respond to requests from the general public and be able to settle disputes in a calm manner. 4, firm knowledge of election procedures and election law. 5, experience in supervising and/or participating in running an election, at the very least experience needed in working as a precinct official over a period of time. State certification would be ideal. 6, knowledge of current election technology, and ability to keep up with technological change, troubleshooting, etc. 7, ability to act in a bipartisan manner, no matter what their beliefs, and to treat all members of the public fairly and equitably without regard to party affiliation. 8, someone who will make every effort to assist and educate the general public in the voting process. I'll hand this out to you. I would like to propose that, sorry, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. I would like to propose to you that we can find the best qualified person most easily by doing a state search. Jane Ann, don't you have the capacity to speak, to contact all of the directors and deputy directors in the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it cost any money to do that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we might be able to find someone who comes closest to meeting these or whatever job description we would come up with ultimately, a whole lot easier by advertising and letting them come to us. We did have people from, local people who have volunteered their resumes, which is very good of them. But, I mean, it's possible we could get somebody who's state certified. And I think under the circumstances, particularly where we're going to hire this person, and immediately, almost thereafter, they're going to be having to work on a general presidential election, then it's best that we get someone who can hit the ground running. And that is what I would like to propose that we do. In terms of the time frame, I think we have plenty of time to do that, because Jane Ann isn't quitting until the end of June. It's only the beginning of March. We could easily put together a finalized job description. We'd need a salary range. I was thinking that we would talk to Darren about that. Maybe that's what you've already done, what Bill was talking about. If you talk to Darren about that, we need a salary range, and we would post this, and then people could apply if they wanted to. Maybe we'd get nobody, maybe we'd get somebody, who was ready to just hit the ground running. I would just really like to give that a chance. Is it okay if I ask Jane Ann to put out a call for us to get other applications from all over the state?
I don't really think that's necessary.
Why not?
Well, one, I would like to get whoever it is, personally, you're saying by time, I'd like to get whoever it is in and let them have some time with Jane so she can go through the procedures of the office, her checklist procedures.
I think that's a very weak argument, because we could put out a call pretty soon, probably this week. We could wait 2 weeks, get some applications, get the rest of the applications. We need to go over them. We can have a special meeting, or, we could go over them separately, and we come together, we decide on who to interview, we do some phone interviews, and we're probably not even to May or mid-May at that time. We have this much time, and we should go for the best possible person. It's really wrong of you to think that you should just take this person by yourself, off the top of your head, when you're serving 47,000 people in this county. This is not an odd suggestion that I'm asking for a search. This is standard. I mean, it would be like if I said to you, when you get up in the morning, be sure you pee before you put your clothes on.
Okay, Kathleen, seriously, is that where we're going? We don't need to do that.
We could go worse.
I think the state has some great training programs that are in place, and Director Hodges, kindly enough, is retiring. I think it's important to use the word retiring instead of quitting. I don't think Jane is a quitter. She's someone that has made her decision to retire, so I think it's important for us to keep that in the forefront.
Well, I won't go into how you helped her along with that
Yes, well,
decision, but go ahead. Yes.
Okay. And to your point about the salary range, my understanding that's something that the county commissioners set.
Yes.
I think it'd be appropriate for us to reach out to them and or Darren and
Well, I was
determine what that
thinking
amount
that
would be.
Darren would be able to do that.
I think it's based on an average probably of, probably not equivalent to someone that has 30 years of experience, but less than that. And I probably wasn't alive when Jane was elected or appointed to this position. And that tells you the, kind of the, how long it has been since we've had an appointment of a director. So I think that's something to note, that there's not a formal process in place. You look at the general statutes, and basically, that's section 16335, Director of Elections and County Board appointments. There's several requirements, 5 of them. They cannot hold any elected public office, cannot be a candidate for any office during primary or election, holds any office in a political party or committee, is a campaign chairman or finance chairman for any candidate for public office, or serves in any campaign committee or candidate, has been convicted of a felony. So those are all items I think, we should definitely keep in consideration as well.
Well, just because that's the minimum that you have, does not mean that's what you should aspire to. I mean, I don't know Mr. Snyder, and he may be the most wonderful person in the world, but I do know that he was the chair of the Republican Party, which makes him innately partisan. And I think that it would be better to have somebody, give somebody a chance who would be very fair. We've had a lot of trouble in the last year and a half. And the reason we have had trouble is because there is a perception in a large part of the populace of this county that you guys are putting one foot on the scale when it comes to voting procedures. And we are, we are basically in a lawsuit over that. And we had a judge say that it was unconstitutional
Okay,
what you guys
Kathleen,
did.
you're off topic on
I'm
this.
off topic,
You're off
okay.
topic, you are off topic.
I agree with you. I will get back on topic, and I will say, I would like to ask Jane to do this for me. And then I will look at them. If you want to see them, you can. If you don't, but I would like to ask Jane to put out a call, and I will look at them myself. I don't see that you would have a problem with this. I don't know what your reasons, I can't even conjecture what your reasons are for not wanting to do this, other than you just want to put in some partisan person to do force bidding, whatever, I mean, I just think that it's better to have somebody and hire them in a professional way.
Any more?
I have no further comment.
Okay. Next is public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Ms. Hodges, you run the clock for us.
I've been listening to this meeting today,
Can you
and
speak
I
a
have,
little louder?
okay, I have put in a resume, but I would like to make an observation. In most businesses, you do put out a request for resumes. You advertise your job opening. What I'm surprised is I looked on the county website and I didn't see it there. And that bothered me because we may have people right here working for the county already who would like to do this, who would like to send in a resume, that may feel like they shouldn't because it hasn't been advertised and open to the public, much less them. So I think that that's a great idea. That's something that most business people do. I've been in charge of hiring people, and the firm I worked for, we advertised within first and then went outside. And I think it's common practice in Watauga County to do that with positions.
Well, it's
I'm just
usually-
surprised. I'm really surprised, and I think you should reconsider, think about that, and maybe you want to think about it for a week and come back next week. Have a special meeting and decide.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Deborah, do you mind signing that sheet so we just have a log?
I just signed up. Is it fair game to,
Please.
okay,
Ms. Hodges, okay.
thank you. My name is Harvard. Is this coming through?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Fine.
Okay, my name's Harvard Ayers, and I'm a retired ASU professor. Worked there for 44 years. And I've also been in charge of several environmental organizations over time. And whenever we had a position available at the university, in our department, we went out through a special hiring service that anthropology has to all the departments in the country and told them about this job, and we actually would have a departmental meeting to decide what we want, who we want, and what we want in terms of qualifications. And that meeting would take as much as an hour. And then we would put this out on various places, including this anthropology listserv. And we would frequently get as many as 50 or 60 applications for a job. And I can also say that we would then have everybody interviewed. We'd come down, as Kathleen described, from our resumes, we'd choose a short list of maybe 3 or 4 people. We'd have every one of those people come in on our dollar to be interviewed before we would think about hiring. And then we would decide which one we recommended. We recommended that to the Dean of Arts and Sciences. The Dean of Arts and Sciences then would look, and the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs would look at it and decide if that's who they would also recommend. Usually they want to go along with our recommendation. As an environmentalist, for instance, I founded Appalachian Voices, which is one of the local groups here in Boone. And whenever we had a position that was more than just maybe someone that was going to answer the phone or something of this nature, we would put it out for a search, and we would let a wide range of people know that we really wanted to do this. Now, it would seem to me that with as important a job as we have now, and a person with 30 years of experience, we really want to get the best possible person for this job and not just choose someone willy-nilly. And so I suggest that you follow what Kathleen has had to say and be professional about this. This shouldn't be a partisan appointment. This should be a job hiring of a person that is up against other people for qualifications. And I think to do any less would really be a travesty. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for giving me this.
1 second.
I'm sorry.
No, time's up.
I think I'll have to sue you.
Can you speak up?
I'm bad at
Yes,
time.
wait, start over. I get to start over.
Sorry.
Not that I'll even go to 3 minutes. Okay, Pam Williamson, thank you for giving us the opportunity to comment to the board. I just wanted to make a couple of just observations. One is, I'm wondering if Bill doesn't have any names to recommend. Maybe Bill hasn't had the opportunity, or maybe people haven't sent him resumes, but it would seem to me that Bill might want to put some folks forward. The other thing is, I agree with what everybody said here about trying to get somebody really qualified, and I agree that the norm is that you go through, at least letting people know that there's a job opening. But I'm aware that the statutes say that this is an appointment, you don't have to do that. My question would be though, why in the world wouldn't you? Is there anything, you might ask the attorney, is there anything in the statutes to prevent you from going out and taking resumes from people all over the state, of all parties or no parties, who might be best qualified? So I have a question about that too. Kathleen asked Jane Ann if she could, or she said that she wants Jane Ann to put this up there, and I'm wondering from the attorney whether there's anything in the statutes that prevents Jane Ann from advertising, even if it has to be under one board member's name, that this board member is looking for applicants, because I don't think there is anything. The last thing I would just note, the next to the last thing, it really is key to get somebody qualified in here. I believe it or not, I don't really mind what the party is of the person. What concerns me is Mr. Snyder, whose name I just heard tonight. I witnessed him at one of these meetings, on a public meeting. There's this picture, and I think his picture's in the paper, squabbling with one of the people who wanted, it's in your paper, you probably took the picture, squabbling with a citizen as to why there shouldn't be an ASU voting site. And I just wonder, you know, I mean, that would make me wonder if that was a particularly good qualification. Last thing I'm gonna say, it's good to see Ford again, I haven't seen him in a while, but I'd also be interested to know, because I've been going to a lot of these meetings, what he's doing here.
Right.
Because, did somebody ask him to come? Maybe you could tell us that, and somebody asked him to come, did the board vote to bring in the attorney? You have a gentleman who was exposed in the newspaper as having been, in a clandestine way, writing memos and other pieces of information to the board. You have an email trail a mile long of his direct communications with the state board, and I'm just wondering what he's doing here tonight. Thank you.
I'll answer that one, that's not a problem. Last session, I wanted to go into closed session, discuss personnel. Kathleen was saying we couldn't do it. I'm not an attorney, she's not an attorney.
Please go on.
Why didn't you tell the rest of the board? Did you ask the rest of the board if they wanted the attorney here?
Please go on.
Well, you know,
I don't think as chairman that's necessary to get legal advice when that's coming
well,
up.
don't do anything you're not required to do, you know, Lou, be sure of that.
Yes, ma'am.
It says here,
Before, are we public comment?
Anyone else, public comment? Okay. So the next agenda item is to go into closed session for personnel. Is there a motion to move to go into closed session?
I would like to discuss the closed session, because I have asked you on March the 4th what the closed session was about, and you have not answered me. So I would like to know why we're going into closed session.
Mr. Chairman, since personnel matters would be confidential, the statute requires you to cite the statute and only to cite that it is for personnel matters. It would not necessarily be appropriate to cite the specific individuals that you wish to discuss or anything beyond it being listed as personnel.
Okay. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Before we do that, I would also like to ask why Mr. Eggers, your brother, is here.
I just answered that. I don't feel like I need to say it again.
I think he should accuse himself, because not only is he accused of nepotism, but
Okay,
we did not ask him as a board. We don't, he can't just come because you
Well,
asked.
Kathleen, look, last time you were screaming about legal issues.
Right.
Legal issues,
That's
just
right.
let me finish. I'll let you go on, let me
Yeah.
finish.
Okay,
You were talking about legal issues,
right,
okay?
right.
He is the county attorney. I'm not an attorney, neither are you.
But we are
It's why,
supposed
let
to
me
ask
finish,
him
please,
as a
ma'am.
board.
Ma'am, let me finish. I'll let you finish. Give me
Yes,
the time of day to finish this. Like I said, I'm not an attorney, you're not an attorney. The county appoints an attorney. I asked him, is it okay? He asked Derek, is it okay? Yes, we need legal advice. You can't, I didn't pass a bar to do legal statutes, and neither did you. That's the purpose of this, to make sure we do a closed session personnel meeting legally. That's it. There's nothing else to this other than a legal
We are
meeting.
supposed to do it together as a board in an open meeting if we want to ask him to come. And we did not do that. You asked him to come singularly, unless you did it with Luke, and unless you did it together with Bill, in which case it was not an open meeting. So I'm asking why he's here.
I've explained why he's
Because we did
here.
not ask him as a group. All right, I won't.
Ms. Rager, is
harass
there a
that.
general statute that states that the chairman has to seek the board approval to ask for your presence here?
No, sir.
I didn't say that. I said we did not ask him as a board.
Well, but there's nothing statutory that says that has to happen. I felt like it was good
Ask him.
practice. I just did.
Why didn't you ask him if it was?
Then you asked him,
Okay,
the way you want it worded, because
Mr.
apparently I'm not
Evers.
getting it.
is it not true that one person on the board is not supposed to ask you to come, but it would be the vote of a board to, when they're meeting in an open meeting, to ask you to come?
The duties of the county attorney are typically set by the Board of Commissioners and are handled through the manager as to when the county attorney should respond or should attend a meeting. In this case, the chairman of the Board of Elections did make a request for the county attorney to be present. That request was forwarded on to Mr. Giop, who advised that I should be here today to assist with the closed session and the personnel issues to make sure that the board stayed within the parameters of the law.
And you see no appearance
Kathleen, I'm also,
conflict of interest in the fact that Mr. Eggers, who asked for you to come, is your brother?
No, ma'am, there's no legal or ethical requirement that would affect my appearance to assist the board with its closed session matter.
also, I would just like.
I do think that there
I would
is-
I'd like to say this, also in our trainings with the state
Yes.
board, I think it was probably the first one we went to,
Yes.
they even said, when you go into closed session, have the county attorney there. They said, use the county attorney as much as possible for these.
The county attorney has a conflict of interest.
There is no conflict of interest, you can scream it all day long, but there's not one.
Yes, well, there is.
Okay, well, I make a motion to go into closed session.
Right, and that's what it
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
is. No.
Okay, motion carries to go into closed session. Kathleen, are you going to join us for closed session
Yes, what are we doing?
into the conference room?
Right.
You're welcome, Coach.